What would you do if a single phone call could unravel your life in ways you never imagined? In the sleepy town of Willow Creek, where gossip traveled faster than the wind, Karen Mitchell thought she was untouchable. She was the queen of complaints, a woman whose sharp tongue could slice through any situation. But this time, her call to 911 over a cake design would spark a chain of events that left her world in ashes, exposing truths she never wanted to face. Karen was a woman of habit, her days filled with routine inspections of her pristine suburban life. She prided herself on perfection: her manicured lawn, her spotless SUV, and her reputation as the neighborhood's unofficial watchdog. If a mailbox was crooked or a dog barked too loudly, Karen was on the case, her phone always ready to dial. Her latest fixation was Bella's Bakery, a small shop owned by Elena Torres, a kind-hearted woman whose cakes were the talk of the town. Elena's designs were works of art, each one a testament to her skill and her love for bringing joy. But Karen didn't see joy. She saw imperfection. It started with a birthday cake for Karen's daughter, Sophie, who was turning 16. Karen had demanded a 3-tiered masterpiece, pale pink with gold accents, adorned with edible roses. Elena had poured her heart into it, staying up all night to perfect the delicate sugar flowers. When Karen arrived to pick it up, her eyes narrowed. "The roses," she said, her voice dripping with disdain. "They're uneven. This is unacceptable." Elena, ever patient, offered to adjust them, but Karen wasn't having it. "You've ruined my daughter's birthday," she snapped, storming out and leaving the cake behind. That evening, Sophie's party went on with a store-bought cake, and Karen's fury simmered. The next morning, Karen did what she always did when slighted. She called 911. "There's a business defrauding customers," she shrieked into the phone. "Bella's Bakery sold me a defective cake, and I want them shut down." The dispatcher, used to Karen's theatrics, tried to explain that this wasn't an emergency, but Karen wouldn't listen. "I'm being disrespected. Do your job," she demanded. Within hours, a police car rolled up to Elena's shop, and Officer Daniel Hayes, a young man new to the force, stepped inside. He was visibly uncomfortable, knowing this was no crime scene, but Karen's insistence had forced his hand. Elena, wiping flour from her hands, was stunned. "A defective cake?" she asked, her voice trembling. Officer Hayes apologized, explaining he had to follow protocol, but the damage was done. Word spread like wildfire. By noon, whispers of "that crazy cake lady" filled Willow Creek's coffee shops and group chats. Karen, however, felt vindicated. She posted a scathing review online, calling Elena's work sloppy and unprofessional. She didn't expect the backlash. Enter Mia Chun, a quiet but fiercely talented graphic designer who had recently moved to Willow Creek. Mia was Elena's best friend and had been at the bakery that morning, helping with a new logo. She'd overheard Karen's tirade and seen the hurt in Elena's eyes. Mia wasn't one for confrontation, but she had a knack for digging up truths. While scrolling through Karen's social media, she stumbled on something shocking. A photo of a cake Karen had commissioned for a charity event the previous year. The design, which Karen had proudly posted, featured a racial caricature so offensive it made Mia's stomach turn. The post had been buried under Karen's flood of complaints, but Mia saved it. This was the twist that would change everything. Mia showed the photo to Elena, who hesitated. "I don't want to make this bigger," Elena said. "She's just a difficult customer." But Mia was adamant. "She's not just difficult, she's dangerous. She's bullying you and tarnishing your name." Together, they contacted a lawyer, Sarah Nguyen, known for taking on cases of discrimination and defamation. Sarah saw the photo and immediately recognized its weight. "This isn't just a bad review," she said. "This is a lawsuit waiting to happen." The case moved quickly. Elena sued Karen for defamation, citing the false claims about the bakery and the emotional distress they caused. But the real bombshell came when Sarah presented the offensive cake photo in court. The courtroom gasped. Karen's face drained of color as the judge, a stern woman named Judge Clara Evans, leaned forward. "Ms. Mitchell," she said, "explain this." Karen stammered, claiming it was just a joke, and that she didn't mean to offend. But the evidence was damning. The charity event's organizers testified that they had rejected Karen's design, but she had insisted, saying it was cultural commentary. The hypocrisy was glaring. Karen, who had called 911 over uneven roses, had commissioned a cake that mocked entire communities. The trial became a spectacle. Locals packed the courtroom, and news outlets picked up the story. Karen's reputation, once built on her self-righteous complaints, crumbled. Sophie, her daughter, stopped speaking to her, humiliated by the public fallout. Karen's husband, Tom, a quiet man who had always stayed in her shadow, began to question her actions. "Why didn't you just let it go?" he asked one night, his voice heavy with exhaustion. Karen had no answer. Her world, built on control and outrage, was slipping away. Elena, meanwhile, struggled with the attention. She hated being in the spotlight, but Mia and Sarah urged her to stand firm. "This isn't just about you," Mia said. "It's about everyone she's hurt with her words and actions." Elena nodded, finding strength in the support of her community. Customers rallied around the bakery, flooding it with orders and kind words. But the emotional toll was heavy. Elena couldn't shake the image of Karen's smug face as she'd berated her over the cake. It wasn't just about rose, it was about power. In a surprising turn, Officer Hayes became an unexpected ally. Guilt-ridden for his role in escalating Karen's complaint, he testified about her history of frivolous 911 calls. "She's called about everything," he admitted. From kids skateboarding to a neighbor's loud music. His testimony painted a picture of a woman who weaponized authority to bully others. It was a small but pivotal moment, showing how even those complicit in Karen's chaos could see through her facade. As the trial neared its end, Karen took the stand. She tried to play the victim, tears streaming as she claimed she was misunderstood, but the judge wasn't swayed. "Your actions have consequences," Judge Evans said, her voice like steel. The verdict came down hard. Karen was ordered to pay $50,000 in damages to Elena for defamation and emotional distress. The courtroom erupted in murmurs, but Karen sat frozen, her eyes vacant. She had lost more than money, she had lost her identity. The aftermath was brutal. Karen's social media accounts were deleted, but screenshots of her offensive cake spread online, branding her a pariah. Neighbors avoided her, and Sophie moved in with her aunt, unable to forgive her mother's hypocrisy. Tom filed for divorce, tired of living in Karen's chaos. Elena, though victorious, felt no joy. The money helped keep her bakery afloat, but the scars of the ordeal lingered. She donated a portion to a local charity fighting discrimination, hoping to turn pain into purpose. One evening, as Elena closed the bakery, she found a note slipped under the door. It was from Sophie, written in shaky handwriting. "I'm sorry for what my mom did. Your cakes are beautiful, and so are you." Elena clutched the note, tears welling. It was a small gesture, but it reminded her why she kept going. Karen's call to 911 had been meant to destroy her, but instead, it had exposed Karen's own flaws and brought a community together. Karen, alone in her silent house, stared at the phone she once wielded like a weapon. She had called 911 to assert her power, but all it did was reveal her prejudice and unravel her life. The bitter truth was inescapable. Her need to control had cost her everything: her family, her reputation, and her place in the world. As the sun set over Willow Creek, casting long shadows across her empty home, Karen realized there was no one left to call. Nd.